what are the pros that the Kalvium student has compared to a normal computer engineering student, and whether there is a con for a Kalvium student compared to a normal BTech student
Pros, yeah.
or
Rather
engineering
than
student.
calling it as pros and cons, I'll call it the
Mm.
trade-offs, right? The trade-off in Kalvium, what Kalvium stands for, is we want to bring industry as close to the student as possible. Our
Mm.
belief is that when you work in the real world, you will you will truly learn. Like we are not trying to cater for the industry in terms of, hey, here's some software engineers for you. No, our
Mm.
focus is the students learning, but the best learning happens when you build software for actual end users, right? You build some systems, you work in teams that are solving real world problems.
Mm.
That said, so that is where for the students who truly want that, if you want
Mm.
to very soon join the industry, see how things work. You want to be very practical oriented. You want to start working on things as opposed to just studying but not really applying your
Mm.
knowledge. Then Kalvium makes sense for you. The other side
Mm.
of the trade-off is that it is intensive program, right? Because what is typically the outcome in 4 years, that same outcome is coming to you in 1 year, but that one
Mm.
year is very packed, right? You have
Yes.
to be fully interested, fully invested, put in that
Mm.
much time also. It's a lot of fun. Like students of Kalvium enjoy the time in the classroom because we have set up a culture that is a very professional culture. We don't
Mm.
do a normal student teacher thing in our classrooms. We don't, it's a very flexible environment for students who want to progress as per how they want. Kalvium
Mm.
ensures you're making the progress. We have to ensure that you're learning, but the full freedom is given, right? But it is intensive. Like I said, right, 9 to 6:30, 6 days a week. You have to
Mm.
know that you're for a year you will be in an environment with your peers also who are thinking like that.
Mm.
So you'll be working on a lot of projects with your fellow students. You will be learning technologies way early. You will be learning concepts of computer science way early also. So you have to enjoy that. So the trade-off you are making is you are prepared to put in the effort. It takes a lot more effort in Kalvium, but the plus or the benefit of that is that the results come as soon as 1 year of the program. Hey.
As someone who has worked with some of the top companies in the tech industry, your take on the importance of studying in LIT institutions like IIT or VIT something? Do they really help in getting success, or are the other factors that are important?
I
Mm.
think that brand name of a top college, not just in India, in the world, matters for the first
Mm.
year of your profession. When you have no other showcase of your skills, right? You have not really worked in the industry. At that time, that
Mm.
brand name ends up mattering. So when a hiring manager is looking at, say, 10
Mm.
fresher resumes, but one fresher is from a brand name institution, so to speak, I think that can end up making that decision a little easier for
Mm.
that one resume. That said, this industry is extremely
Mm.
outcome oriented. After that first year, no longer will the brand name help you. It will be about, hey, you've been in the industry, what have you done? Right? So that is
Mm.
the challenge we set to solve with Kalvium. So at least in Kalvium, you will already have
Mm.
3 years of experience. Obviously, our
Yes,
brand
sir.
is also going to be built because our students are going to be working continuously in the industry, and every single fresher of Kalvium will have close to 3 years of full-time work experience. And
Mm.
that, like I said, HD2 level, you are already one promotion level above the basic fresher. So
Mm.
that is our approach towards it. That in the end, the even the degree doesn't matter so much
Skills.
as what have you done. You have been
Mm.
working for 3 years, right? That ends up. So in the
Mm.
industry, that's how it works. When you're a fresher, that brand
Mm.
name may end up mattering. After 1 year of experience or so, it doesn't matter which college, what institution, what background you're from. It's
Mm.
all about what have you done, and especially as you go, it's going to be which are the organizations that you have been in, what is the work you have been doing, what's the impact, what
Mm.
are the problems you have solved, how have you helped various goals. That's how it works. So within Kalvium, it wouldn't matter at all, the degree, so to speak, just because it'll be your work that
Okay.
speaks for you.
Mm.
3 years of work, in fact.
Mm.
So that's how it ends up working
Whether
in
the
the real
internships
world.
and the placements offered by Kalvium are given to each, or every student or it is shortlisted, something like you have great scores in the credits or something, or whether it is given to everyone equally.
So Kalvium ensures companies come and ensures that you are, provided to them. You're given the opportunity to interview in the company. Various companies that come for internships. Obviously, after that point, the decision is on the company. And to make their decision easier, it will be basis your output. It will be four key things. So broadly, two are non-technical, two are technical. One is your
Mm.
behavioral skills, right? Have you reached the maturity that is expected in a professional environment? That is why, I said, right, our first year is close to a professional environment rather than a classroom. That is to ensure you have built those skills. Right? So, behavior wise, are you like a professional? Second is how good is your communication and collaboration skills? Can you talk? Many students who come from 12th standard end up
Mm.
being shy or perhaps not putting their point across in
Mm.
a confident way. So that is a bit of skilling up that you have to do in the first year. So your communication and collaboration skills. So these are the two non-technical things. And there's two technical things. One is, have you actually done a real world like project? So in Kalvium, by the second semester, every student does a
Mm.
full-fledged real world project. This is to ensure you have something to demonstrate that, hey, I have the skills, actual skills needed. And finally, the fourth thing is your coding skills, which is a key to a successful career in computer science. That is
Mm.
also something that we teach in the first year. These four things end up making you successful or not
Mm.
successful when the companies come. Our broad goal is that we set this path for you. On day one, you'll
Mm.
be taught this path. You have to walk it. So, what is Kalvium's responsibility? That we've set up the path for you successfully,
Mm.
provide all the guidance needed. What is the student's responsibility? They walk the path and then they build up the skills wherever they are lacking across these four paths. Should they do that, the getting the companies to come for the placements, setting up the interview process, all of that will be taken up by Kalvium. The students communicating well in those interviews, impressing the whoever has come for hiring, and then actually making it through. That's a process that the
Okay.
student ends up owning. But yeah, broadly, like in this first the pilot year that we launched, I
Mm.
mean, we've got excellent results. We have companies international, we have great startups who have ended up coming, and they're surprised how can first year students have so much skill, right? That's a universal feedback that we have gotten, which is very heartening because next year these 30 or so employers who have come
Mm.
are going to spread the word to hundreds more. Say, okay, we had a very successful 1 year of interns from the previous batch. You should come and take
Mm.
up interns from the next batch as well. That is how we see
Can you
the
share some
progress.
achievements or something that the previous batch have done and got a great name?
Yes,
Mm.
yeah. So you can go on GitHub. There is the GitHub
Mm.
organization is called Kalvium Community. There are every single student's project is available there. Amazing projects built. We had one student of ours who built
Mm.
an entire DSA course, data structures and algorithms course. There's one project that I really like. One of our students built a
Mm.
application for farmers that allows them to find the right pesticide for the right problem by looking at the list of problems that can occur for, say, any given plant. We had another interesting project that
Mm.
was around finance. How do you manage your portfolio and see how it's tracking? We had a project on fashion, which is, hey, which clothes go with which clothes, right? So, I mean, the very diverse set of ideas across all of the people using their interest. So, the way this project is built is the student has to come up
Mm.
with one hobby area, one interest area of theirs, think up the whole project and execute it end to end. So to see it, you can again go to GitHub and actually
Okay.
see all the code that our
Okay.
students have
Can
written.
we discuss about the minimum and the maximum packages after completing the 4 years program, as well as the internship that you provide from the second year?
Sure. I think internship wise, we try to make sure minimum of a
Mm.
15,000 stipend at least as a paid internship for whoever chooses that work integration path. From a overall end of the goal perspective, like I
Mm.
said, we are aiming for every student to be at a SDE2 level, which means the salary package that typically comes for a SDE2 level is what we expect for our students. Broadly speaking, compared to the average pay that happens in
Mm.
a regular program where you exit as a fresher, not as a 3 year experience person. So that difference ends up being roughly 3x. So average salary of all the batch of Kalvium students when they graduate would be roughly 3x of the typical starter average salary.
Mm.
That is the aim that we are going for, 3x.
Great. Then can we discuss about the program accreditation and how it is recognized by the employers and other educational institutions?
Correct. I mean, we are fully affiliated with the
Mm.
universities, right? So
Okay.
every university, it's pretty much as it's a degree within the university. So
Mm.
Kalvium provides its own certificate for all the students. That's common no matter which location of Kalvium you choose. So you get Kalvium certificate along with its medals if you have received them, no matter where you do the program. And but where whichever location you are enrolled in, like I said, you are attached to one of their bachelor's degree, that will be in that name of that partner, that university partner. So that's how that the regulatory or the UGC affiliation works.
The most important thing is maintaining equality between in the job roles, right? Females and males, the ratios in Kalvium and how many has the questions that whether a female can be in the IT job or something like woman in tech. What your point and opinions about that, and what steps you have taken to ensure the equality between the genders?
Yeah. So this is a area that the whole industry has struggled with. The question that you're asking about enrollment into college
Mm.
is also the question that applies when, if you look at the workforce in various companies. Even there, as of today, there is not equal participation
Mm.
in
Yes.
computer science careers.
Mm.
In fact, the ratio of women in technology careers is much lower than where it should be. So there's many factors, how the industry has evolved for the past 2 decades that has led to the current state. That said, there is a lot of on the ground uh, efforts that are going towards fixing this. So, for example, in enrollment time, there's a significant encouragement for students, women students, girls students to also apply to
Mm.
engineering degree. Before it used to be typecast, maybe 1 decade ago,
Mm.
this career was very typecast for only men in some sense because all the stories you would hear in the news, in the media would be about men. That has changed drastically.
Mm.
Right now, there's a lot of effort, there's a lot of awareness that no, this is an equal career for everyone. And we are seeing that the rate of growth is increasing, or the proportion of women in education who are taking computer science as a choice, and even in the industry who are ending up in technology career. Both of these proportions are increasing. How fast are they increasing is one concern. It's very slow. It's been a slow. And this is where there's no one easy answer. It's all about how do we continue increasing the awareness that hey, this is a great career. It's a very enjoyable career. Forget great from a some stipend or salary or those perspectives. It is just a very enjoyable career. If you really, it's almost like you're doing daily problem solving, daily puzzle solving. Uh, that sense is coming across now, and companies are also making a lot of effort.
Mm.
Companies, for example, end up doing multiple drives to attract women into their workforce.
Mm.
There's a lot of scholarships that have opened up for students to enroll, and then a significant portion of their fee is managed and taken up by these scholarships. We are also exploring the same in collaboration with the industry and various other social institutions, right?
Right.
So we'll be launching this in the coming years.
Mm.
But broadly, these are the efforts that the proportion is increasing
Mm.
slowly. We have to keep our efforts on so that we reach that fully, equitable and equal share, even for our women students in this field.
There has been a lot of talks like the potential of AI to replace human jobs, and what is your perspective on this? And do you think you will see layoffs in the tech industry as a result of increasing automation, or do you think there will be always a need for human workers in the field in tech?
Yeah. Yeah, this has been on the mind of a lot of people recently, especially with the recent surge that has happened in the tooling. For example, there was this OpenAI company called OpenAI that launched some products, the most popular of which is called ChatGPT. Famously, the Microsoft's search engine Bing also integrated with it. So this has demonstrated a very high level of a productivity increase. Things that would take hours to do before can be done in minutes, many things. So in that sense, yes, those are the job roles which required, let's say, some bit of human creativity or human intelligence. Turns out, because of the incremental and some revolutionary improvements in our AI systems, now the AI systems are able to do that. I was so surprised. I asked, I mean, I knew how good these models are, but I went to ChatGPT and I asked it to generate a poem in the style of Ernest Hemingway, whose poetry I like. It came out with two beautiful poems, and I was moved enough that I was moved by them, right? And it left me a bit speechless in that minute. Wow, a machine just came up with that in a matter of seconds. It would have taken hours or days for someone to put something like that out. So there is a lot we have that is left to learn in what is capable. So to your point, is it going to affect many job roles? The answer is yes, it is going to. It is also affecting programming and software development as a job. But to your other question, which is, are the jobs going to go away? No, that is not going to happen. What's going to happen is that the roles will have to skill up. Software developers who would not use the help of these tools will be less productive than software developers who would utilize these. So it's a new, very powerful tool that's come. Imagine that. I don't know, screwdriver was not invented and everything was just nailed with a hammer. And suddenly someone invented screws and screwdrivers. Now a whole set of things you have to relearn it. If you still go use hammer and nails everywhere instead of using a screwdriver, you are no longer as good a, I don't know, a carpenter than the carpenter who uses the screwdriver as well, right? So a powerful new tool has emerged. These large language models. So every role which is affected, where something, ChatGPT can do it better than what human could do, those humans, those job roles will have to learn that skill set and incorporate it into their day-to-day work. That is how the evolution is going to happen.
Yeah, when
So the
evolution
people
comes,
who will
then people also should evolve accordingly, right?
Exactly. Typically, the tools that come aren't so monumentally better. Typically, the tooling improves 10% every year. Mostly people keep up. The reason this question is coming up now is that this ChatGPT and related tools are significantly better in that it's 2x, sometimes 10x productivity. And that is where that fear comes that, oh wow, am I even needed? Is what I do even needed? And multiple specific companies have gone down in the stock market heavily because something that company was known for, now this tooling can do. So that's the company's fate or that problem statement's fate. But the people who are doing various roles have to adapt to using these tools. If you can adapt to making it part of your, the skills that you have, then obviously there'll be a few things extra that you can add on top. And hence, that is how you secure your future. Software engineering is a career where you have to constantly keep learning. And one of the key things to learn right now is how can these tools improve you and your productivity.
Great. And finally, what advice would you give to the students who are considering application for the Kalvium program and pursuing a tech career?
I mean, if you are pursuing, if you want to pursue a career just because it's what everyone does,
Mm.
I will say maybe think a bit more about it. Truly try to find what is it that you want to go after. And if the tech career is what it is, go for it. If you, in some sense, know you will enjoy
Mm.
a technology career, that you find it interesting, that you want to explore it and put in a lot of effort on hey, I want to get to the depth. I want to get that joy of computer
Mm.
science. Then there is no better place than Kalvium for you. If you are the kind of person who wants to explore, who wants to jump into the swimming pool
Mm.
of computer science, so to speak, then I will say welcome to Kalvium. Just take the KQ. If your mindset is that way already, I am sure you will pass KQ
Mm.
and get through those challenges. There's no preparation needed. Like I said, it's not something that you can crack. Just go. It'll test you on various things, and when you come in, you will find an environment that fully supports you
Mm.
in that long term. It is not at all focused on bookish learning. It is not at all focused on just pure traditional, hey, get the marks done. Like in the industry, no one cares about the marks or what CGPA you got, truly speaking. All everyone cares is, hey, what have you done? What are your true skills? We focus on that. We want to ensure that you build up your skills and you are able to make the transition well into the industry as early as possible. So, so that is broadly, I think, how I would answer that.
And the other question I have is whether before 2 years there is no Kalvium, right? The students who have started studying in other colleges now will be studying third year, fourth year, or final year. They will be at placement time. So, what advice would you give for them to improve their career, and what are the steps they can do from now to land in a good job?
Yeah, I think there's two key things, those four things actually that I called out. There's two things non-technically,
Mm.
two things technically.
Mm.
Do those, cover your gaps in those four areas. First is how well do you understand professional behavior? Go look, maybe do talk to people in the industry and see, hey, where do I need to improve on that? Perhaps communication may be one area. Perhaps understanding how that world works could be one area, right? Second is your communication and collaboration skills.
Mm.
I mean, broadly speaking, this industry is very English. Just because it's a global industry,
Mm.
there's no one who works only for a region. Software is pretty much written for the world, and the major language is English there. So ensure your English communication and skills. If there is a gap, you fill that up.
Okay.
Broadly, it doesn't mean you have to be some perfect, grammatically amazing and so forth. You simply need to be able to communicate your idea to the other person. If you can do that, your communication skill is good enough. So these two things non-technically. Technically, find an area of computer science that you really like and do some projects in it.
Mm.
That will demonstrate in the interviews to your whoever is come for hiring that, oh, this person has actually gone and learned something by yourself. If you stick to just what the university system has taught you, then you will not showcase your abilities and skills and you may be left behind. Do a project. Instead of doing five small projects, it's better to do one deep
Mm.
project, right? So showcase your skills, put it up somewhere like GitHub or any of these open source places, so that the future world can see
Mm.
what are the skills you picked up. Finally, coding, right? Make sure you can do good enough programming.
Mm.
Now there's so much talk of this lead code and code chef and all these hacker rank, these platforms. Go skill yourself up. You should, given any problem statement, you should be able to code it up. That much proficiency is needed for a successful career as a software engineer. These four areas, so do a self review. Where is the gap in these four areas? Fill up wherever you have the gap.
Great, sir. So basically, I forgot one question, which is how much does this company or the people work here has a experience?
Yeah, so I mean, as founders, let me talk, right? So, like I said, I prior to Kalvium, I was at Google. I've seen how very large companies and companies at the leading tech, so to speak, how they work. Then prior to that, I was at HackerRank, which is again I joined when it was a very small startup. But HackerRank's USP was it can validate the skill of a software engineer. So as part of being there for a while,
Mm.
I also learned that, which is what is it that the industry is looking for? how do you even measure the skills in people, and which means how do you build those skills for those people as well. So broadly, that is my background. My co-founders have been doing placement training uh,
Mm.
for pretty much all universities of India for like past 15 years, right, through a
Mm.
different company. So like 50 lakh students overall.
That's a new thing for others to know, right? It is 15 years of experience. They think it's just a startup and you have 15 years of experience in the
Yeah,
same field.
absolutely. So, I mean, the
That's right.
learning from there is what led us to
Yeah.
starting Kalvium. The learning
Mm.
from that previous company was that hey, the actual skills needed versus the skills that the students
Mm.
have, the gap is too big. It was so big that we constantly were asking the question, why is no one improving this? And hence we started Kalvium. But you're
Mm.
right. In a sense, we are third time entrepreneurs, and this is a field we have been there for
Mm.
15 years. If you look at the people who invested in Kalvium, it's who is who of the
Mm.
entire Indian and global technology system. So the CEOs, CTOs of all the top companies have invested in us, and that is because when we speak to them, when we explain our ambition, our model, they're like, yes, I want these students, right? We should make this improvement, and when the time comes, when your students are ready, we'll take them as interns in our companies. So if you go on the website, you'll see the list of all these companies and investors. So yeah, we have broad experience and we are pretty much fully integrated in the industry to be able to place our students there.
Yeah, I have done the questions that I asked the students, and I hope you have also enjoyed
So
the podcast.
absolutely,
And do you
I
have?
think when you had messaged me that you had taken up the admission, and the fact that again your YouTube channel is what really
Mm.
what I really liked, and I wanted to ensure that if you're going to do this, then your other friends or maybe your subscribers and so forth, right?
Yeah, yes.
You will get peers like yourselves in your class.
Mm.
You're
Yes.
helping find
Okay.
your future classmates.
Yeah, this is for the audience that if you have any other doubts regarding Kalvium and anything like admissions or something, you can kindly put it in the comment, and we will make an 1 minute video based on those comments, and we will answer your questions. Thank you. Thank you for watching.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me, Sarvesh. It was very nice talking with you. And I
Yeah,
look forward to talking a
okay, sure.
lot more in the future and looking forward to what amazing things
Mm.
you do at
Yeah,
Kalvium.
okay. Yes,
All
sir.
right.